Hello, everybody, and welcome to the destruction of the last few brain cells in your possession. Lucky for you, we will be replacing them today with premium quality hot steaming garbage. So sit back and enjoy yourself as we dive into the dumpster with today's guest. He's an amazing dancer from Sacramento, California. He's the owner of GREATHOUE of Dance. My friend, Mr. Nobody. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I would give you we gotta do elbows.
Elbows,
there it is.
Yeah. COVID
there it
elbow.
Is. COVID elbows.
Elbow.
I like how you have the hand sanitizer on the table just in case.
Yep. In case you wanna
stay clean.
Stay clean. Yo, man, I forgot to ask you, cause your name Knowbody is like probably one of the dopest names out there, and I think I want to hear like the story behind it because it's dope.
The story behind the name, yo. So I actually rewind. Chris Smith, the first guy that ever taught me like
Piece of the Streets.
Piece of the Streets, a popping move. It's called Sacramento style of popping. Dope. Learned it from him. He let me borrow this movie called I Am Nobody. It was a cowboy western movie. It was really funny. But at that time, I was training with Joe from Jabba.
Joe Larot.
We had press play together. So we finished rehearsal and we was talking about Bruce Lee's theory between minimizing the time between thought and action. So when you think something, how long it takes for your body to react. And I was like, man, my goal is to make it to where my body reacts as soon as I think it. So I want to know my body that well. And he was like, yo. And I was like, yo. And I was like,
body.
I'm going to call myself Nobody. I put Nobody. And he was like, no, not that, this, Nobody. And he spelled it Knowbody. And from that moment on, I've been Nobody.
I think that's probably the sickest name I know.
So
knowing the body, I think it perfectly represents your dance style.
Yeah,
because it's like when I see you dance, you become like one with the music. You know your body so well. It's just doing whatever the music is trying to tell you to do.
That is the goal.
Yeah.
I'm still on that mission, on that journey. It's not mastered yet, but it's very close.
So, on your journey, like, how did you start your journey?
My journey began. There was this crew that came to my church called it was Set Free Posse from Hawaii.
Okay.
And they came is one of those Victory Outreach type churches.
Okay.
And they had came to our youth group from Hawaii, and there was a good 20-30 of them, and it was just getting down. And there was one dude that had black leather gloves to cut off fingers on. And straight B-boy.
That's what's up.
And he came out and he did swipe 90. And then he did some Russian kicks and some doubles or whatever. But that swipe 90, I was like, I want to do that.
Do you know what island they were from?
I don't know what island it was from. I've never seen him. I seen him that night and never seen him again.
I wonder if that was Skilroy, because that sounds like something he would actually do, but
it might have been.
I don't know.
I just remember he hit that swipe 90.
Yeah. And
for me at like 12, 11, I was just mesmerized. Like, I'm doing that.
That's dope.
And I went home and started doing dolphin dives all day and Russian kicks. And then that was what got me started. But the thing that really pushed me into going hard was we started breaking with all of the homies at Real Tierra Junior High School. So shout out to Chad and Vincent and all of the homies, Camp Soft and all of them. We were breaking every day at our school, and these two little Filipino kids came up and was like, hey, you guys break dance? We're like, yeah. And they smoked the bejesus out of us. They were fifth and sixth graders. They smoked us so bad. It was Marcus and Tony. So.
And you were 13?
Yeah, whatever junior high was.
Okay.
I think 13.
Yeah.
13, maybe 14. But Marcus and Tony, Marcus, B-Boy Marks. So he smoked us hella bad, but it made us start practicing every day.
That's tight.
So that was the beginning of the journey.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, no. So you started kind of as a b-boy and eventually came into popping, or was it like kind of at the same time?
I started as a b-boy, and that's all I wanted to do was break. So I was breaking every day, all day. We'd run to school early, break, and then all the like passing periods, we'd be breaking. We see each other in the hallway, break a little bit, then go to class. And I remember we were breaking so much, the janitor took one of the old school hearing test tape recorders and a speaker off of the wall. And he Jimmy rigged it. And the janitor's name was Jerry. So shout out to Jerry, the janitor, real Sierra. So he Jimmy rigged it and was like, whenever y'all need it, come get it from my office.
That's tight.
So
that's like the janitor at my high school. He was dope. The janitors, shout out to y'all.
Yeah.
Because he would let us borrow his radio all the time, and he like loved the type of music we were playing. So he was just like, yo, do whatever, and like he would make sure that our little area in the hallway was clean and stuff. And he's
That's
like,
hell
yeah, he
dope.
was nice.
What school was that?
That was El Camino High School. Yeah, so he was dope, and he would like cover for us if there was like a a nosy ass like teacher or something. He's like, oh yeah, you know what, I'm watching them or whatever,
That's dope. So, see, the janitors had our back.
Yeah.
We was working, so we would steal his box, or not steal it, but we take his box, break all through lunch, eat hella fast, and run to class.
Oh yeah.
And that was just like the foundation. Like, and then I remember Chad came one time and he was like, yo, he started popping. I was like, I'm doing this. And he literally introduced us to popping. He's like, this is popping. And I was like, what is that? And we just laughed at him at first, and then he just kept doing it. And eventually I started trying to do it with him, and it just stuck. So I was breaking and popping, and it just kept going. So
like, when did you kind of make the complete switch to popping? Because you don't really break anymore. I mean, you could windmill and do like.
Yeah, I don't spend like hours breaking as like I used to, because it hurts in the morning.
Yeah.
So I don't even remember the switch actually happening. It's just I slowly stopped breaking as much. Like, I still had moves. I could still do one hand crickets and like head spins and stuff, but it just, I think the last time I was breaking like seriously was when I was on King's Breakers.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, shout out to King's Breakers.
Yeah,
a lot of crazy rehearsals.
Yeah, definitely. Man, what are they doing now? I mean, because like that whole thing is shut down.
It's shut down. That's exactly what they're doing. They're
yeah.
doing the same thing we're doing.
Podcast breakers.
For real. So yeah, I think I stopped when I started doing. I joined Boogie Monsters, and I was still breaking, but I joined and started learning choreo with Phil Tyag, and he
from Jabba.
Yeah, he got he did take it easy on us, so I spent many hours trying to learn that style. And shout out to everybody who was the worst in their class and stuck with it, because that was me for 6 months. So yeah,
I mean, I took a few of those classes back in the day with you guys, and they whooped your ass.
Yeah.
The Jabba and the Boogie Monsters and Press Play people, they train hard.
Yeah.
I haven't seen them in a long time, but man, I know they're still going.
Yeah, Press Play is like season like 11 now. I'm
yeah.
Like, dang, they lasting. So it's, yeah, I had fun with it. I learned a lot in the choreo world, but I still love breaking and freestyling. So yeah, it's a part of the culture that I just didn't let go of. So
is freestyling like your favorite part of dance?
I think my favorite part of dance is the music.
Is the music, okay. That makes sense.
Weird. But like, doesn't matter what you're doing, if a fire song comes on,
like, you gotta move.
Yeah, you sit up and you be like, yo, what is that? And then you think of all the things that you could do to that song, and like the moment it hits, you're like, I want to hit this to this to this, and then next time you hear it, you're like, I could do this to this to this, and it just, the music like drives everything.
What's the weirdest place you just started busting out? Like the most inappropriate place.
The most inappropriate place.
like the DMV or something, like, you know, Edna's over there waiting to take your ticket or whatever, and
DMV, we've done the DMV, but that's not really inappropriate. Everybody's bored waiting. Yeah, no, they just love it. Yeah. I'd probably say, like, I guess grocery stores.
Okay.
Like, I remember we had some crazy battles in Sac, though. Like, we'd be in the mall by Macy's where the escalator comes down. Before they changed it, it made it all nice and weird. So
which mall was it?
Arden Fair. What other mall is there? All right, like,
I mean, that's true. Well, there used to be, what is it?
Florin Mall. Yeah, that got shut down.
Don't go there.
I heard Oak Park looks really nice with trees and waterfalls. You can go visit. Come visit Oak Park. Oh God! But yeah, we would come down the escalators, and there was a crew called Little Leprechauns Crew.
Little Leprechaun.
And this is when I was at Grant, so I was probably like 16, 17.
Yeah, okay.
We're coming down the escalator, and we see them sitting in front of Macy's.
Oh.
And we instantly lock eyes. No words said. Straight to the battle.
This
like
is Beat Street.
Yeah, for real. But it's Arden Fair Mall.
Yeah, it's Arden Fair Mall.
Like, we probably got about 4 to 6 rounds in before security came, and we all just...
Yeah, no, oh man, I remember that run all too well, because we would always be battling right in front of the what is it, Mrs. Fields, or no, what is it, that pretzel place?
Yeah,
because they would sometimes
pretzel time.
Yeah, they would sometimes hook you up with food, and so we would just go and we would battle people and stuff, and then like someone would call security and we'd see them from far away, like running, and we're like, oh shit, and we'd run down the like escalator. Sometimes they'd catch us at the bottom of the escalator, and we had to like get escorted out or whatever. But
they just made sure you leave. It's pretty whack. We was leaving anyway, so it didn't matter.
Yeah. We don't want none of this anyway, so your establishment was whack anyway, so
so yeah, that was a lot of fun, actually. I kind of missed that, and I think the mall's probably my favorite place that was forbidden to break at.
Okay.
But yeah, you hear that dance clubs are inappropriate to dance at now?
Are they?
That's what it is. We used to go to clubs and they'd be like, no breakdancing. What?
Yeah, that's true.
Wait, so you're playing hip hop music?
Yeah.
And you
can't hip hop dance.
We can't dress hip hop.
Yeah.
We can't dance hip hop, but you want the culture.
Yo, man. It was so whack when they would do that. And like, oh, you gotta wear like the dress shoes. You gotta have a freaking button up. Like, you gotta have your Sunday's best.
Yeah, for real.
And then you got like girls twerking everywhere, and it's like, I'm just trying to hit a 90 in the club, dude.
What's up? I can't get in with Adidas. Yeah. No, but you're playing my Adidas on the speaker.
Yeah, exactly.
So they had every part of hip hop except for the culture. So
yeah, that's whack.
Yeah, but. We're slowly making those changes. So.
Yeah. So going back to your answer, as music being your favorite part of dance, can you elaborate on that?
I grew up in a small church. Well, my grandfather had a small church in Stockton when I was growing up. So I would literally watch my dad, my aunt, and my uncle go from the organ, the bass, and the guitar and the drums, and they'd be playing. And then the next song, they all jump up and switch to the next instrument and start playing. Tight. And then I thought that was normal as a kid because I didn't know any better. So when I started dancing, I would hear the different instruments separated. Like, I'd hear the drummer and be like, yo, that drummer is fire. That bass player is dope. That guitar is, yo, the way he's is so clean. Like, so when I hear the music, I don't just hear the music as one. I hear it like, yo,
separate.
Yeah, who's that drummer? I need to follow him. So and so when I'm dancing and the music is on, like, the song could be terrible, but the drummer is fire, and I'd be like, yo, I need those drums. So
that's dope, because I remember that's one of the things you taught me, is to like pick out different instruments in the music, and that's kind of crazy that it was introduced to you from live music. So is your preference live music over?
All the time.
Okay, yeah.
Like, if I can dance and freestyle to any kind of music, I would just take live, because when you sync up with a drummer that's playing live, and he sees you, he'll start playing and try and add to what you're doing, because you guys have synced up, and it's like the dopest feeling ever.
Yeah.
Like, I think the best moment I've ever had in a cypher was Funky Drummer was playing in Wisconsin at Man of God's Jam.
Okay. Yeah.
And the after party, they had Clyde Stubblefield come, and he brought two dudes, and he was like, so when I was whatever, I made this drum loop for James Brown. It's called Funky Drummer. It goes like this, Funky Drummer. And he starts playing, and the dude gets on the guitar, and the bass drop, and literally instantly the whole room broke into about 8 to 9 ciphers, and everybody's just getting down. And it was like nobody was waiting to see who's dope. Everybody just had to dance. It's like he struck a match, and the whole place went on fire.
That's sick. Yeah, see, that's the way it should be.
Yeah,
all the time.
We need more of that, and I think the culture will be like the b-boy culture. Imagine that kind of level of energy at every jam.
Yeah. So, what do you think is missing from it to be there? It's not just live music, I think, that's missing, but it's like kind of like an attitude, maybe.
I think I've been doing research on trying to figure out what that is. I think my opinion is the DJs are missing.
Okay.
Because the DJs now will play top 40. They'll play whatever the people want, popular-wise, versus digging in those crates and finding those fire songs that are like, yo, I dug for 3 months for this, and this is what I found. When the DJs were doing that, it'd be like 12. You have 4 DJ homies, and they'd all have completely different hits. It wouldn't be like, yo, I got this, and we all play the same song 4 times a night. It'd be like, yo,
like, let Scheme Richards on there, so he's got his whole thing, and then who comes next, Chewy or something. They all had like their different styles and stuff, and you'd recognize, like, when you'd hear a certain song, you're like, oh, is Chewy spinning or something? You look and it's like, oh yeah, that's him. He's got them like crazy salsa breaks or whatever. Yeah.
And I think that's what's missing, because everybody has the same blueprint. These are top 40, you play top 40, and that's it. So there's no flavor coming from the top down. The DJs was the source of the music, which made everybody dance, and now it's like all the music's the same, and everybody's just doing the whoa.
Yeah, in the breaking scene, it seems like there's kind of like a top 40 of like breaking music now, because it's all produced by a lot of the top DJs now. Like, what's your opinion on that?
I like some of the stuff they have, but I feel like stuff that I've heard, Flave is doing some fire breaks. What is his name? Lean Rock has some fire. But after a while, you can't just rock Lean Rock, Flave, and Ticia all day. You gotta start adding more, and that's where you dig in those crates.
Yeah.
So
no, that's kind of my same opinion. Is that I think that they have some dope production. I love their music, but when it's just a cycle of those 3 artists or whatever, it is kind of gonna be the same feeling throughout it. Whereas if you had someone who's been digging in the crates, they got hundreds of different artists that they're spinning. They might even just throw one song from some wild ass group that was from back in the 70s or whatever that no one even knows about.
And then when you hear it, you be like, what is that?
Yeah, what is that? And you'll never find out.
Yeah, because they don't even have it on. It's not digitized.
Yeah.
Digitized. It's literally just, if you don't have this, you don't have it.
If you don't have this cast record here, good luck. It's not digital. It's nowhere.
I got one record like that that I got from this dude that was in Italy. He brought it and gave it to Cool Cuts, and Cool Cuts gave me a copy of it. And it's like the intro to his little 30-minute breaking set.
Yeah,
like he's spinning all breaks, but the first song was so fire that I was like, I need that, and I've never heard it anywhere else. You can Shazam it, doesn't show up. It's like, if you don't live in this region in Italy, you've probably never even heard of it, and maybe you still haven't, even if you live there, because it's like one of their local bands that's just made something dope.
Yeah, I'm curious. Like, there's probably so much music that was never recorded that's fire, and
well, there's so much music that was recorded, that is sitting on a vinyl somewhere.
Yeah, just
sitting in a box shop, waiting to be found.
In your grandma's basement or something.
Yeah. But that's why we used to love digging in crates. Like when I first got into the DJ world, was introduced by Cool Cuts, we would literally go to all of the record shops in Sac and just spend time going through dusty records, like 4 or 5 hours to find 3 or 4 records, and then go home and play them. Be like, yo, what'd you find? Yeah. That's whack. This is what I found. And
what was that place called in downtown Sac? I used to go there a lot.
I can't remember the name.
It closed down, but it was huge. It had a huge record.
Yeah, it's closed down because I see where it used to be at is a club now.
Yeah. I forget, but I would go there a lot. Actually, Chewy would come to Sac to specifically go to that place a lot. So and he'd find a bunch of stuff there. But yeah, that I wasn't like a DJ really. I mean, I had some turntables and I would try to DJ and stuff, but I would go and dig in records, and so I gained a love for music and digging just because of that. I wouldn't call myself a DJ though, but you know.
Well, I didn't start off trying to DJ. I started off trying to make beats.
Okay.
I was trying to sample, so that's why I was always digging. But there was the B side is still around. That you can find dope records, and there's a place called Underground in Old Sac that you can still find a gang of dope records. So but it's weird how expensive records are now.
Yeah, it's a hipster phenomenon. I think is like, you know, all the hipsters.
Great job, hipsters, ruining everything.
Yeah, you ruin everything. You make some bomb cupcakes though.
That's
move to the hood and make some cupcakes. Oh man. So anyway, so like with music, so you would say like your inspiration for dancing really comes from the music. And so when you're listening to all the different instruments in a song, are you trying to like I guess make your body make the shape of like a certain instrument sound or something, or like do you try to like what am I trying to say, like do you have a certain style that goes to each different instrument, or
I think we got the theory of minimizing time between thought and action. So like when you hear a snare, like because I train popping, when I hear a snare I automatically go to a hit. So if I hear a wave or a boom, my body will throw a wave because that's the natural reaction that I've trained my body to do.
Interesting.
So like for you as a b-boy, when you hear you probably move on the top rock form, or you get ready to do some CCs or whatever you're gonna do to the break. It's your body reacts to whatever you train it to do. So like for martial artists, like you did martial arts too, so don't mess with Kurt. He can hurt you. That's why they call him Kurt the Hurt. All right. But if you train 1,000 times on that one kick, and somebody runs up on you, it's a natural reaction. They're just gonna get kicked. So that's the same way I try to do it with the music. And the philosophy for it I learned from conversations with Joe, and he was telling me KB's philosophy. So Kevin Brewer from Jabba, you know, he was talking about it and sharing that knowledge with them, and they shared it with me. So it's like, it's really, really dope. The style is called beat manipulation. So it's really, really dope, because like if you look at a piano, the way I interpret it, if I look at a piano and the low notes are over here, the high notes are over here, if I hear something low, I usually go doom this way, or I'll go doom actually low with it, because I'm trying to match, or I'm trying to be the visual interpretation of what you hear audibly.
Interesting.
Scientists, all right, late.
that's really interesting. And well, so you were mentioning martial arts, and I was gonna say, yeah, it sounds like a very martial arts kind of approach to it, because it's like when you're fighting, right? When you're sparring, you're reacting to an opponent, and in a way, like this music is your opponent, and so when the opponent is throwing a snare at you, it's like you can't help but your instinct is to hit back. You know, as in like if someone was striking you, you would dodge or block or something, or even strike back. Yeah,
that's exactly how it is. So like, most of the time when I'm battling, I'm not battling my opponent unless I don't like him. I'm battling the DJ.
Yeah, dope.
So if the DJ puts on Little Mermaid, as we've seen so many times, It's like I lose that fight every time. So if you want to beat me in a battle, play Little Mermaid.
What do you think about those battles where they actually just they try to play the weirdest crap and just F you up?
I think it's a different kind of challenge. It's like for people who are very funny and don't and like they take dance serious, but they're like comedians. Mm-hmm. It's right up their alley. Mm-hmm. For me, who like I'm not really like I can play, but I don't play that much when it comes to music because I spend so much time. Mm-hmm. I've invested so much time into it. Like it's hard for me to be like I'm gonna enter this battle. I'm gonna train all week to get the Little Mermaid. Like, we
got to create the mood.
Yeah. So once they start doing that, I'll be like, you know what? I didn't sign up for this. I came for the actual like to sharpen my tools with somebody else. So I don't know, because of the martial art aspect in it. I'm like, yo, I'm trying to get better. So if I'm battling to the Little Mermaid, I'm gonna have a lot of fun, but I'm not gonna really get as good as I would like to.
Yeah, no, I see that. That's dope. So would you say you're kind of like your style is like a Jeet Kune Do of like a dance or something?
They call it Beat Kune Do.
Beat Kune Do. Okay, that's what's
shout out to KB, Sifu in the building.
Yeah, he would be like your mentor.
He's the one who coined that.
Okay.
So watching him and studying the way he dances, it makes perfect sense. Mm-hmm. Like I remember we were in San Diego one time and KB was in the garage getting down, just training by himself. Everybody else is in the house chilling, and he's training, getting down. Mm-hmm. And someone in his family, I think it's his wife's sister or somebody, is hearing impaired. So she comes out and she watches him dance. And go ahead. So she comes out and she's watching him dance, and he's dancing to one song. Then she goes back in the house. He switches the song. She watches him, comes back out, watches him again, and then she goes back in. And he goes back to the first song, and she can't hear, so she's just watching. And she's like, "That's the first song you were dancing to." He was like, "Yeah, how'd you know? The way you move shows me what song you're dancing to." And I was like,
or she was lying and she can hear the whole time. But that's a crazy story, actually.
But for me, like I wanted to get my skills to the level to where people can tell what song I'm dancing to without the music.
That's a really interesting. That's an interesting way. I've never heard anyone say that. That's really crazy.
Well, I had to think differently because when I was running press play, Shaheem Keita's older brother got on the team, and he's deaf. Mm-hmm. He showed me that he literally feels the music through his feet when the bass hits. And I'm like, huh? And he's like, yeah, I feel it through my feet when the bass hits, and then sometimes if I just stand still and relax, I can feel it in my body. And I'm like, what? And then I turn the music up and I just relax. Our body is what, 80% water, some random percentage of water. If you're hydrated and you relax and you let the bass hit you, you can literally feel the music, which is crazy because Shaheem taught me that, and I've been trying to do it. So when I enter a battle, I try to relax as much as possible before I dance so I can feel the music, and it literally teaches me to beat.
That's crazy. Yeah, no. When I first met Shaheem, I didn't know he was deaf, and I'd see him dance. I'm like, this guy's killing it. And then I realized he was deaf, and I was like, how the fuck does he dance? And so, but anyway, I mean, like that's a freaking superpower, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I know. There's something to that because I know that Cujo he can somehow do the same thing. I don't know if he would say it's like he feels it through the air or whatever, but I know he's got this kind of peripheral vision of everything, and he sees people like clapping on beat or just kind of moving or something, and somehow it's like coming into his like subconscious. That's and it gets him on beat. So there's something to that, you know.
I remember there was one time at Monsters dance convention, and we were all on stage doing the freestyle at the Monster convention, and I went already. A couple other people went, and Shaheem was like, "B, I can't hear the music. I can't hear it. I can't feel it." Because the music, we were on a raised stage, so it wasn't vibrating. Oh. I was like, oh, okay. And we was like, boom, 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 start stomping our feet. He's like, yes. And he goes out and he murks it because we're stomping so he can feel the beat.
That's tight.
And I was like, yeah,
that
chunk is dope.
Dude, he's isn't there a hero in like Marvel? He's Daredevil.
Yeah,
he's
Daredevil. DC.
Yeah, he's Daredevil. That's crazy.
Yeah, so
He's
that right there showed me that there's a higher level that we're not even approaching because we don't know it exists.
Yeah, there's something to that. Yeah.
So, but that's part of the Knowbody journey.
Yeah, seriously. So take me through the journey. Well, take me through how you enter like a dance circle. Like what as you're stepping in, like what's going through your mind? Like what are you focusing on? What are you not focusing on?
So there's two different versions. There's a version where I know the beat, and my opponent went first.
Okay.
And it's like, oh, I put my hands behind my back and I let them dance, and I just enjoy it because I already know the song and I'm comfortable with the song, so I'm not stressing. My body's relaxed, and then when I step in the circle, it's just like, okay, I'm gonna go from the kick, doom, 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 cat, 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 ew, tat, tat, and I'm just literally jumping from beat to sound, from each sound in the beat, and it navigates me through, and it's weird. I learned this thing called catching ghosts that allows me to just trust where trust my body to do what it's been trained to do. Yeah. Versus
that's a very martial arts perspective. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's versus I want to hit this, and this. Do what it's been trained to do. Like, and what my best rounds is when I did that. Like the rounds where I try and control stuff and be like, yo, I'm gonna hit this. Check out my tets.
Not
trash.
It's not happening.
When you watch it back, it's like, yeah, trash. So,
yeah, no.
So, and then the second version is when I really don't know the song, and I'm learning it while I'm dancing. That's the most fun.
Okay.
So, like for me, I got bored with always dancing to songs that I know, and I started dancing to songs I don't know and testing myself to see how fast I can learn it. And right now, when I was at my peak, my average was give me four 8 counts of any hip hop song with a good loop, and I'll have a good 6 to 8 different sounds that I've already memorized.
Okay.
So while somebody's dancing, I'm like 1, 2, 3, and I learned the loop because I was producing so much.
Yeah.
And like playing with music so much that I catch the loop fast. I'm like, okay, the kick's going doom, 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 doom. The snare's always 1, 2, 3, 4. So most hip hop was straight. I didn't even worry about snare. And then learning the hi-hat pattern. Then I step in the ring and I'm like, boom, 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 and just go off.
Yeah, and then it's just business as normal. As soon as you pick apart that beat, it's like you're good. Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah, because like for me, like when I'm about to step in a circle and I don't know the song, I'm kind of like, oh, what's gonna happen here? I mean, like I'm comfortable being in that situation, but also it's like, this is probably not gonna be the greatest round of all time.
Yeah.
So
yeah. But I think a lot of dancers are going through that right now. That's why they want to stay in their comfort zone of give me a song I know. When the DJ plays, like I've seen people go to the DJ like, yo, can you play this for my round? And the DJs do that jack. I'll be like, yo, that's mad not cool.
Yeah.
Like you can't just be picking the favorite songs.
Yeah.
Now if the DJ knows you and he does it on his own, that's not your fault. But if you actually go to the DJ like, yo, here's a 20.
Here's a 20.
Let me get that win. Like it's that's why a lot of people don't. I think a lot of the culture gets played because there's a lot of favorites that happen with the DJ and dancers that know the DJ. So now that I'm moving into DJing, I'm trying to be more like open and fair with everyone. Like, yo, I'm playing hotness. I already have my top 16 folders already made. All my folders are ready, so I'm playing through the folder. If you pop up and I see you do hip hop, Okay, I got the hip hop. Oh, you break. So here's some breaks that are in the top 16 level. In every stage, it just gets better.
Okay.
So, like, the music for me determines what I'm going to do when I walk in that circle.
Okay.
So if I get some fire, I can pull some fire off it.
So how would you? What tips would you give someone who wants to learn how to get better at, like being able to sit there for that 4/8 counts and pick apart a song and be ready to go in and just kill it?
We used to play a game. TJ's really good at it now, where we would listen to a sound or a song and try and memorize the pattern of the kick, then the pattern of the hi-hat, then the pattern of the guitar, then the pattern of the bass, and then whatever sound effect. And then if there was a piano, you'd have to memorize them. And after you memorize them, your leg would do the kick, your arm would do the snare, your other leg, and see how many sounds you can get moving to the different patterns.
That's crazy.
So it's like a drummer version of playing the song, like the one-man band.
That sounds hard just to like do that on a beat, you know?
Yeah, it is. But if you can do it, it means your body can literally adapt to the song hella fast. Okay. And if you can do it, like for funk music, it all kind of has the same format. Okay. Breaks kind of all have the same format. Dubstep all has the same kind of build up, drop format. So if you learn it in the format of the music that you like trap. Okay. Like trap threw me for a loop because I could not learn the hi-hats for nothing.
The hi-hat pattern is fast and it goes kind of weird all the time.
Yeah, it's not on a beat that you can play physically. Yeah. So if you're playing the hi-hats, you have to be either ridiculously dope with the
I don't think most drummers can do that.
Yeah, so I've only seen one drummer that could actually pull it off. Yeah. But it's not something natural. So for me, trap was hard because I'd be expecting the to hit and it'd be like I'm like,
oh, you got me.
Yeah, every time.
Like they're tricking you, dude.
Yeah, so I literally have to sit there and develop a relationship with the trap sound because it doesn't fit the format of funk, doesn't fit the format of hip hop, doesn't fit the format of classical. It's just its own format. Somebody had a machine that was just hitting buttons that don't know music. And they made some dopeness out of it. Yeah. So I'm not mad at it. It's just like, dang, this is unorthodox. Yeah. No.
So trap music is very weird to me because it seems like someone who wasn't a drummer just was like, let's see what craziness we can do out of this, and then they made something dope. And then the drummers are probably like, damn, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah. So when you're playing live, you have to have a drum machine with the hi-hat roll set, and you just hit it. And I'm like, oh, that's how they're doing this live. Because ain't nobody going.
It's like, it doesn't work.
Cool. Hit that sampler.
Whole 8 count of 32 count.
So it makes life easier. Because I know for drummers, they have or for DJs, they have it to where you can play live and you can set the loop. You just hit it on the one and it'll play the loop. Yeah. So it's different. So the more you build a relationship with the style of music that you like to dance to or that you're going to be dancing to, the easier it's going to be for you to learn the patterns quickly because it's all relative within that style. That's what makes the style styles. It's the pattern types. So learning those patterns will make it a lot easier, like a lot easier. So
yeah, that's crazy. So like in talking about like differences, what do you think, what is your opinion about like the changes in like the hip hop scene nowadays from like what it used to be?
I have like mixed feelings. One, the feelings that most people won't get along with is these kids are on some weirdness. But
I think the kids are always on the weirdness. I mean, because when you were a kid, you were probably on the weirdness.
Exactly.
I mean, I definitely was.
So when we look at these TikTok dancers, we're like, this ain't hip hop. Yeah. Or we look at all the new dances and we're like, actually, it's the same thing that you were doing. So it is hip hop.
Yeah.
It's their version of hip hop,
Yeah,
not
exactly.
yours. So now that my argument for the last like 10 years is, what was foundation before it was foundation?
Yeah. It was
And
wildness.
It was somebody's style. Like, yo, I did this, and now because I did this, everybody else in the world has to do
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
No, that's you're breaking the rubric of hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
So like, hip hop is dope because you had the freedom to create whatever you wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
So when you start boxing people in to not let them create outside of the box you made, it's no longer hip hop. It's its own little cult.
Yeah, it's a cult. Yeah, it's cult dance. It's not hip hop no more.
Yeah, so I had to break my mentality around that because I was never a foundation guy, but then I became a foundation guy, and now I understand foundation will help you get to where you want to go faster because somebody's already laid the path. But once you acquire the foundation, throw it away and dance.
Yeah.
Most people don't throw it away and dance. They get the foundation, they stick exactly to it. Like, this is it. This is all I can do.
Yeah.
So it takes the personality out of the dance. It takes the life. It takes the actual hip hop, the freedom out. So I would say bring the freedom back. And that would be the OGs don't like when I guess not all the OGs, some of the OGs don't like that because they feel like it discredits what they've done. But no, it gives more credit to what you've done because you're an OG because you originated your style. There will never be any other OGs if they don't start originating styles because everybody's doing your style. There's no room for any other styles.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you said that because that's the exact feeling I have about it, is that so many people get caught up in like, I need to do this to be hip hop, I need to do this to be a b-boy, and it's like, I think you're already a b-boy if you're just doing this thing.
If you
know
live
what I
the
mean?
culture, you're welcome to b-boy life.
Yeah, exactly. And so, and I like what you said about you learn the foundation and then you just throw it away and dance because that's all you need it for, really. It's like you learned how to write, you learned your ABCs. How many times do you think about the ABCs and you could talk, you could have a conversation, you could write a letter, you could type a message, whatever. It's like, you don't need to think about the ABCs. That's your foundation. Who cares anymore? You know, you can make up some wild words.
So we use the foundation to create our own words, which is crazy. Like, oh, this is not in a dictionary. I know because we just made that up. Like,
Shazam.
That should be on the button. Shazam.
I need to get that on there.
This is for the soundbite. Shazam.
I gotta remember that. 42. Okay.
That's so dope. I used to run around saying that all the time.
Yeah. Do you not anymore?
I need to bring it back. Thank you for reenacting the Shazam.
The Shazam.
It's going down.
So Shazam, I know you'd always say that when you'd be teaching at your studio, Great House of Dance. How's that going right now? Because I know we're all in like this weird lockdown thing with the COVID. Like, how's that business faring? And like, I guess, what have you had to do to?
It is like the biggest blessing in the world right now. Okay. So when COVID hit, I'm gonna give you the COVID lifestyle stories. COVID hit, right? And I was like, dang. I was in this gallery with the atrium and it was really dope, and it's like all this amazing stuff. The space that we could create and throw jams and events was amazing. COVID hit, no one can come inside. Like, capacity on the door says 0. We're like, yo,
man,
this ain't gonna work out too well.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, guys, we gotta figure something out. And right when it hit, I was supposed to go in August. It started in like what, March, April?
It was I think the end of March is when it started. Yeah.
So in March, I paid for my plane ticket to go to. I paid for my. I was like, what is that?
The world is coming. It is the Armageddon.
So I paid for my plane ticket to go to Czech, and I told the people in Czech I'm coming no matter what. COVID hits, everything shuts down. I'm not supposed to go to Europe anymore. I've already paid for my plane ticket.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going. And they're like, well, you can't come. I'm like, I'm coming. They're like, well, we don't know how. And then one of the people on the team starts fidangling and finds a way to get a letter from the Ministry of Culture so that I can come to Czech.
Okay.
So I'm like, cool.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, all right, they said they'll have it. The the week I'm supposed to leave, the guy who's supposed to sign the letter goes on vacation.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh, snap. So do I go or do I stay home? And I was like, you know what? I'm going to just go. So I get on the plane. I fly to LA. I get to the front desk for flying to, I was supposed to fly to Amsterdam.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, yo. I get there and I'm like, yo, I'm about to fly out. All my bags is packed. Everything's already checked in. I'm like, it's time to go. And they were like, where you going? Czech Republic. No, you're not going to go there. Some Karen looking dude, you're not going. Rose his neck and everything. This is closed and I'm not letting you get on this. I'm like, who are you? Like, who are you? He's the gatekeeper. He's like going in. He's like, well, if you can't find these are the reasons that you'll be able to go. I'm like, I got a letter from the Ministry of Culture that's supposed to be waiting for me when I go. Yeah. It's like, well, you don't have it now, so unless you can get in the next 10 minutes, you're not going. And I was like, man. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna sit down. I called. I tried to message them, and they were like, well, he's on vacation. We won't get it until Tuesday. Dang. And I'm like, oh shoot. Well, God, open up a way for me to go. Waited 10 minutes, went back to the thing, was like, hey, so is there any way I can go? The letter won't be here till Tuesday. The guy is whatever. And he was like, no, you can go downstairs, get your money back, and And I was like, yo, this dude is just a douche. Yeah. And as he's saying that, some lady walks up and was like, where you trying to go? I was like, Czech Republic. She was like, and it was a lady that was his coworker and his boss. Both walk up, and they're like, oh, you just don't fly into this. You go over, you got to fly and land somewhere over here. You ever been to Croatia? Yeah. I was like, no, sounds beautiful though. He's like, it's the most beautiful place ever. Ooh, That's what we're going to do. This is 5 minutes before the gate closes. So she's typing, the gate just closed. She's typing, she's like, oh, and I was like, this is about to go down. She got me on a flight to Croatia. On the same flight he just told me I wasn't supposed to go on. Yeah. And right before I walk in the gate, she's like, wait, I can do better. Upgrades my seats. And I'm like, you know what it's like to upgrade your seat on an international flight, right?
Yeah. It's nice, dude.
So I'm like, ooh, this is dope. Dude, so I fly all the way to Amsterdam, and the guy, when we get to Amsterdam, is like, or fly to Amsterdam and from Amsterdam to Croatia. We get to Croatia, and they're like, how did you get here? I was like, I got friends.
I got friends in high places.
And then they argue with me for a second, and then they're like, well, you have to take a test. All right, cool.
Yeah.
So they pushed me through, and they were like, stay in this house for 7 days and then take a test. I was like, I can't stay here for 7 days. I have to be teaching in 3. And I was like, well, I booked my hotel for 2 days. I called the test place in the morning, and literally the only city that I was in that had Uber still was the city in Croatia. I took an Uber to take a test, Ubered home, and had my test results the next day.
Yeah, okay.
So I made it to Czech, did the festival, did all kind of crazy rapping and dancing and teaching, flew home, and when I landed at home, the studio had moved. We had moved the studio to Old Sac right before I left. Okay. And it was trash. It was like, yo, this place hasn't been open in 15 years.
Oh, yeah.
It was gross.
Because it's like in the railroad area, right?
Yep. Yeah. It was gross. So we moved there, and we got it going, and my girl was running it while I was gone. As soon as I landed, got back in, the first day I'm working Truckee, the studio I was teaching at, was like, right before I left, said the studio's closing. And I was like, yo, that's my main source of income right now. So I go out there and do something, and one of the parents was like, hey, if we find investors to pay for everything, will you come run the studio? Dang.
That's sick.
So Truckee's on fire. I built a relationship with the city through the Atrium. Yeah. Atrium introduced me on to how to talk to the city council members, how to get in contact with them, and how to like understand what's going on with the community comedy. If you don't know, Sacramento gave away $92 million to the creative community during this pandemic. So if you know what's going on, you could have like paid for all of this on a reimbursement grant, and they just gave it to you.
So you saying I'm a sucker?
No, I'm saying we need to get you connected, player. The money, they're literally giving away money to creatives right now. So while everybody's like, the pandemic is killing my small business, the city is literally giving away millions to small businesses.
So this broke boy needs to make some noise.
Yes, that's it. And the reason why most artists aren't getting it, because they don't even know it exists.
I didn't know it exists.
So I didn't either. When they introduced me to it, I was like, oh, I got all kind of homies that are doing stuff. Hey, Mel, this is what's happening. Morris, this is what's happening. Like, this is what's happening. I'm telling all the homies. And then I start posting on my page. And I just start watching the homies collect. Right? And they send out a list of all the people and all the money they got. And the B Street theaters and the Sacramento Ballet is still getting hella money. Like hundreds and hundreds of thousands. Like, how you almost get $1 million from... Oh, because you know how to ask right. I'm not mad. Get your $1 million because you're going to keep your part of the arts open. I'm going to go get one, and I'm going to keep the hip-hop part open. And then we'll be able to all have a wide array of art in SAC versus just one version of this is what art is. No, that's your version of art. My version of art comes over here. So
what was the goal of this bill or whatever, like to be stimulus for the art community that would be shut down or basically having to change their whole business model because of a lockdown? Is that what it was for?
There was 3 stages. So the first stage, this just got real businessy, real.
Yeah, no.
The first stage was like
I'm a businessman, so you know, no.
The mathematician over here.
I'm nobody.
Yeah, right. I'm nobody. So the first stage was like getting money to creatives to help them survive. The second stage was a reimbursement grant to where they reimbursed you for anything you spent or money lost from not being able to do gigs.
Yeah. Okay.
So for me, I was supposed to do World of Dance, the tour.
Oh yeah.
And because the tour got canceled, even though it wasn't in SAC and it was all over the United States, because it got canceled, I was able to submit that with a letter from the owner of World of Dance. And she's like, hey, this is what I was supposed to do. I didn't do it. And I was like, this is a lot of money. Like, it was like a lot of money. So I submitted it and I was like,
maybe it'll come, but probably not.
Yeah, so I was working like it's not coming. I get a letter like, oh, it's here, sign here and here, and we'll send it to you.
Shazam.
For real. And then I realized, like, 1, it worked because I have a relationship with the people in the city. And 2, they know not the relationship, but they know who I am and they know that I'm actually doing the work. The city's been giving away this money for the last 20 years, every year.
Yeah.
But they only give it to the people they know of doing the work. So in order to get on that list, you got to start meeting the people in the city that's doing the work.
Also, historically, a lot of those grants and things have been not given to the hip hop community because it's always been like kind of like, oh, that's a gang related thing or whatever. And so it's slowly been like breaking down slowly to kind of like put hip hop as like a legitimate culture and thing. And so I think now the cities are starting to understand that it's not just some gang related crap.
I seen it switch when they started doing the mural thing. Because all the people that were getting the grants to do the murals were all graffiti artists.
And I knew some that were like literally in jail like for a long time. And once they come out, they're like, hey, I'm an artist though, so like I want to do this legitimately. And they're like, well, here's some grants to do it. So, you know. Yeah,
so now they're getting paid
to do
the same thing they went to jail for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And it's the same. It's I think the city is starting to look at it from a non-criminal perspective. Like, these are just kids that are artists. Let's give them a place to put their art. And the same thing with the B-boys. They used to police us like we was shanking people.
Yeah.
And they're like,
if anything, we're beating ourselves up.
For real. So like
we don't need the cops kicking us too, dude.
That's so funny. That's so funny. But like for us, it's like, yo, would you rather us be stealing from you or dancing in front of your shop?
Yeah.
Making people come look at your shop. And when I seen that, like I'm like, okay, cool. The city recognizes us as something that brings life to their shop. They gave me that spot in Old Sac, and they were like, we don't know what it's gonna be. Well, they didn't give it to us, but we're renting the spot at a discounted rate, which is dope.
Yeah, that's a good area too. I mean, like, it's historic area.
Well, they gave it to us because it was dead and they were going to tear it down anyway.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, well, this is like, let's see what you can do with it.
Okay.
We brought so much life to the old Sac corner. Like,
Yeah.
people are literally coming around the corner, stopping and just watching us dance.
Yeah.
Because I have the doors rolled up with the lights, the
Hmm.
DJ stuff set up, and it's popping on the corner. In the middle of COVID, we had a huge crowd because there's nothing else to do, and everybody's like, "Thank you so much. This is so good for my kids. They've been stuck in the house. Their brains are going crazy. This is like some mental health stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
it
you're
really
helping."
is.
And I'm like, "Yo, this is dope." I didn't realize how much we help until all this happened.
Yeah.
So
No, I mean, I think dance is a very I don't know. It's good for your mental health, I think, because so many people who don't have like a creative outlet, I think they go crazy because it's like they want to release some creative energy and they just don't know how to do it.
Yep.
You know, so just play some music, let them jam out, and it's like, hey, there it is.
yeah, well, I seen that they had like a lot of people in the Truckee area
Okay.
whose kids, like little kids, are dealing with suicide.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how are y'all suicidal? Y'all
Dude,
got
the
y'all
suicide
balling.
rates are crazy.
But yeah, that's what I seen. Like they're dealing with it because they might be financially okay, but mentally they have no release. They're in a small mountain town, and just like a lot of drugs is going crazy out there. And it's like, yo, what's going on?
I think every neighborhood has its own problems, you know what I mean? And so it's like, I don't want to discount anyone who's got problems, and so it's like, you know, I'd rather be the helping towards a solution. I don't want to, you know, hate on your
Yeah,
your
you're
issues
fortunate.
or whatever. Yeah.
But like for me, I seen it as this is my chance to help these kids the same way I help these other kids. And now I'm like, okay, cool. What do y'all need? Y'all just need a place to be creative. Come on. So the Greathoue of Dance Truckee is like killing right now.
That's sick.
Kids, I had this one kid named Lily. She's dope, and she would be the hardest worker for the last like 4 or 5 years I've been out there teaching.
Okay.
And we needed a kids teacher. I was like, let Lily do it, but she's not an adult. We can't. Gave Lily the chance. She has the most kids in all of her classes.
Dang.
More kids than every other teacher,
Dang.
including me. And I'm like, you can't be smoking me in my own business. But I'm like, you know what?
No, that's good.
She knows how to
She's a
interact with the
hometown hero.
kids. Yeah, and she learned from all of the teachers because she took everyone's class, and she learned the best parts of everything they're doing. And now she's doing it in her class. I'm like, Lily's going to be an amazing teacher just because that's who she is. She's an amazing student. So it transferred perfectly, and I'm like, I'm glad we gave her the chance.
Yeah, and now she's killing it.
Yeah.
I feel like, is she the young kid with the like blonde hair? How old is she? I feel like I've seen some girl that was like killing it.
She's like super young. Like, I think she's 12 now.
Okay,
So
that might be her. Yeah.
yeah, so she's
It's
a little
little-
kid, blonde hair, like going in.
Yeah,
She's
okay,
not really
that's-
blonde, but blondish.
Okay. I just remember seeing some girl on like one of your videos, and she was just killing it. I was like, dang, how old is this girl? She's crazy
Yeah.
good.
Well, I don't think they realize how talented they are in Truckee because they're so far separated from the culture. Like, there's no real hip hop culture in Truckee.
Yeah. Okay.
So when they're going in, and I'm just like, I need this, and this, and you'll be fired. But you guys don't know because you don't get to see none of this over here in SAC. So now it's like I'm bringing a little piece of the culture to them every week, and then when they actually get back, they're just like, oh, this is when they actually can get out of Truckee to see it. They're gonna just go nuts.
So I'm curious, like, I guess basically bringing hip hop into that area. Like, do you see that those kids, like, they have the same kind of I don't know how to say this, but like they're doing. They're connecting with it the same way that people who have been introduced to hip hop their whole life. Are you seeing kind of the same thing?
Yes, we had every year we do this thing called Ivy League School of Hip Hop, and I bring DJ Tcia, or I brought Morris out, I brought Lexi out. What is her name? Keely, Lock and Key from Beat Freaks came. Natasha Gorey came, and it's like they come out and they teach. The last one we had Ticia come. She was teaching DJing and breaking.
Okay.
And I was doing the hip hop and popping, and we did like a creative like class. But they have a thing called Truckee Thursday. Truckee Thursday. At the end of breaking for 4 days, we had 1 day left. We did Truckee Thursday after breaking, or after a 5 hours of or a 5 hour session. They went out and we set up the booth, and we set up the turntables and everything, and we were DJing and playing music. Guess who came to stop it? Security. And I was laughing so hard because it reminded me exactly of us setting up stuff, playing, and security be like, you can't dance here.
Oh man.
And they were dancing.
Circle.
They just started getting down. They was rocking. They was doing their footwork. They was breaking. I was like, yo, this is so dope because it's so hip hop.
You brought hip hop culture to the security guards in Truckee too.
Yeah, security. So security comes and shuts it down like normal. And the kids were like, why are they hating? I just want to dance.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going down here. And they ran down to the end of the thing to where security wasn't at. We just got to dance. And they spent the next hour and a half by themselves. Like, I didn't tell them go down there. They just had to dance. Yeah. And I was like, that's just like us. Yeah. That is exactly what we did when security told us no, we would go somewhere else. And
go over there. Yeah, I mean.
So I'm like, that moment showed me that the hip hop culture transcends wherever you're at or who you're with.
Transcends everything, really.
Yeah, it's every culture in the world has a cipher, and they all dance differently in their cipher. So when hip hop hits, it's like, yo, this is just the music that pushes you to move like this, versus like we stole the Indian step from the Indian culture, so Apache step. Ooh,
Native American step. You got to change the name now.
Oh, my bad. Okay, not a Washington step.
Washington.
Yeah. So if you got that joke, you paying attention to football right now.
Yeah.
So, did you know that my brother broke it down? That game is every Thanksgiving is the Washington Redskins versus the Dallas Cowboys for the last 10 years.
I did not realize.
That's pretty shady. And the Cowboys win pretty much every time.
Oh, man. I didn't even realize that.
That joke was so shady.
Ooh.
Yeah, so, yeah. Did
no
they win
they
again?
Change the name, huh?
Yeah, no wonder they. You can't call a team the Redskins.
It's weird that was ever the name in the first place. like some devious motherfucker was like, I know how to get them.
They call them the Redskins.
Like, dude.
Oh man, I wonder if they're gonna change the name for the Chiefs.
Probably. I mean, there's a lot of weird names that I think from a old time that
they're past
right. They're past their prime now. You know what I mean?
What a nice way to say it. They're past their prime now.
It's past their prime, dude.
Oh, that's so dope.
You know, you were in your prime during racist times, so it's kind of like, you're past your prime now, dude.
You gotta let that one go.
Gotta let it go, my dude.
I know it's a legacy. Gotta let it go.
It's time to let it go.
But yeah, so that's pretty funny.
Yeah, dude. Well, this has been a dope episode. I mean, we're hitting an hour right now. I want to ask you before we leave, do you have any other creative hobbies?
Creative hobbies. During the pandemic, I learned that I can paint.
That's sick.
Randomly, I made a huge like when I say huge, like a huge painting of Will Smith from I Am Legend.
Okay.
And it's pretty dope. I put it on my wall, and I didn't know I could do that. I didn't know I could do that.
Yeah.
So.
I've painted like almost my whole life, and so like I think that's kind of what introduced me into like art, really, like dance and stuff. I mean, I don't think much people in my family dance. Oh, no, some people did, but yeah, it was like, so I started as a painter and got into art, so into dance. I mean, so that's kind of cool that you're now kind of going backwards from me.
Yeah, well, I did painting, and then I've always been into videography, photography, and like music editing. So yeah, it's like, but that's part of why I am in the culture, because I love hip hop. So I can successfully say I've done all 4 elements.
Yeah,
for
I was
more
gonna
than 10 years.
I was gonna say, yeah, you're like almost a 4-element dude, but so now you're painting, you're a 4-element dude.
Well, I started off with graffiti, which
Okay.
is crazy because I was trash at it and I was stealing other people's names.
Oh, you're one of those herbs.
Yeah, I was one of those herbs. But I was hanging around with all of the homies that were really good.
Yeah, okay.
And they started getting up on walls like all over Sac. I remember my homie got up on the actual, like, you know, when you're driving from South Sac to downtown, and there's that is it 12th Street or right before Broadway, the big one.
Oh yeah.
He covered the whole thing with his name.
Dang.
And I was like, yo, how did you even get up there?
Yeah.
And he was like, I was hanging.
Yeah, them dudes are rock climbers for real.
Yo, he was one hand while hitting his name and then climb over and hit his name. I was like, bro, you are nuts. And that was one of the dudes. And once I seen him get caught and I seen him have to pay them fines, I was like, I'll be drawing on notebooks. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But
I always loved graffiti art, but I was like, oh man, I can't be caught painting walls and stuff that I'm not supposed to.
well, I did my grandmother's backyard, and that's all I needed to do. My grandma's black.
She whooped that ass.
Yes, it was not worth it at all.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, I always kind of had this more like weird, you know, I mean, I still feel kind of like this way because I love graffiti art, but I also go like, I don't like the idea of vandalism, you know, so I've always kind of been against it.
Well, there was a wall in Sac called the ABC wall that was supposed to be for the artist to hit up.
Yeah,
The guy who owned the shop was like, go for it. And everybody would hit it up. Then the guy sold the shop and didn't tell nobody.
Oh.
And the police was just waiting like,
we're going to get him.
Come here. This the ABC? Well, nah, come here.
Oh,
this guy owns his
that's
building.
shady.
Yeah, it was like, well, they did a lot of shady stuff for the hip hop community.
Yeah.
Like if you threw a hip hop event, they had a hip hop task force just come shut down your events. So Sacramento's grown a lot from there. Now the police are trying to get more hip hop into the city because they know it was keeping the kids from wilding out.
Yeah, I mean, it's also like it's just healthy to have a good hip hop scene. I think, you know what I mean. Like, don't. You gotta embrace it. Like, it's culture that it's modern day culture, really. You know.
Yes, it is.
So, but with that being said, dude, I'm glad you were on here. I think this was a great conversation. Where can people find you?
If you want to take dance classes, the GreatHouseOfDance.com has both studios, Truckee and Sacramento. I am Knowbody, KNOWBODY 916 on most social medias, but follow me on TikTok because you know that's the one that's paying me the most. And yeah, if you want to find the music, just type in Knowbody and look for this pretty face. And it's on Apple Music, Spotify, all the other streaming services. So everything except for SoundCloud. I don't mess with SoundCloud, but I mess with everything else.
Yeah, SoundCloud is kind of fell off, I think.
It's you got to be a SoundCloud rapper to be on SoundCloud, and it's actually popping. I just was doing too much work and didn't have time to upload. And then they put a restriction on how much I could upload. So I was like, I'm gonna just do everything else. Yeah. So yeah, and if you want to use my sound on TikTok, please do. So it'll help me win. So actually, shout out to Marty Bush. We just released a new project together. It should be it drops on the 11th, but by the time you hear this, we just released a new project. Go check it out. Bar Game was on it. Let Me with my homie Charles Bertel. The music that I'm making right now is probably some of the best music I've made in my life. And when January drops, I'm gonna do 40 songs in 40 days. So are you ready? I'm about to release them. Most of it, I think I have 45 actually done already. So I'm gonna release a song a day for 40 days. Yeah,
that's a dope project. Check out Marty Bush's episode. I think it was number 24.
Hey. So what number am I?
I don't know, 26 probably. Yeah.
Oh dang, he working over here. Working. All right,
I'm trying to do what I can.
Yeah, well, you should probably get DJ Cool Cuts on here.
I do. Yeah, I got a huge list of people I'm trying to get on. I need to get time to do this stuff.
And Tiny Tim.
I don't know where that dude is, but I'd love to have Tiny Tim on here.
I see him once a week. I will find him.
Oh, really?
I'm gonna tag you and send him over.
Okay.
That dude probably has the funniest stories in the game. That
guy's a great dude. I mean, you seen that viral video of the dude jumping from the second floor in the suicide? I thought that was Tiny Tim for a second. I was about to
say, that's not Tim. Don't be Tim.
I thought it was Tim. I was like, oh no, Tim went crazy. Nah. He's going to kill himself.
Yeah, and he got up and kept breaking. I'm like, I don't know how you start breaking after that. Because he didn't land feet and lay down. He landed flat, like, wow.
I was like, oh, he's dead. He's dead. He's dead for sure. I had Rodney on the episode, and this fool said, man, 2020, everybody's going crazy, like the dude who jumped from the top. And he said, when I seen it, his hip, it's gotta be broke. I love Rodney, dude. That guy's so funny.
Broke. Oh my gosh.
Gotta be broke.
Oh man, tell Rodney I said what's up. I miss that guy.
Yeah, no, he's a dope dude, man. But so, yeah.
If you release this before New Year's Eve, we're throwing a jam at the studio. And it's going to be a B-Boy jam and an All-Stars jam.
Okay.
I just talked to my man, Super Dave, choreographer for Justin Timberlake. He's going to be our All-Star judge.
Okay.
And we got some OGs coming in for the B-Boy judges. So come through, get down. I know everybody's trying to be safe, so bring a mask and some hand sanitizer. And that's my last plug.
All right, you guys, thank you for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Sorry this show sucks. Peace.